I don't even want to do an interview. I just want to keep walking out again.
I know. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think it's ever been like that when I've walked out before on the show. Like, they were like, really? Made me feel good. I
haven't even done anything.
Yeah.
All I've done today is drink and go to the bathroom. This is incredible.
Those are the making big moves.
Making big, quite literally. Yes.
And the older we get, the more excited we are about it.
It's more frequent.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's a positive feel right now, but I can't ignore, like, we both have houses.
Such a positive feel. Let's talk about our bowel movements. And
yeah, but I know we have to discuss it because you were actually in LA. We both have places in LA. You were there when all the fires were going on. How is your family? Did you have to vacate?
My family's okay. We have not had to vacate. Air quality is not ideal.
No. It's
not. I grew up in South Florida. I'm used to natural disasters.
Yeah.
I lived through Hurricane Andrew, which was devastating. It devastated Homestead. Took us years to recover. I have personally never seen a level of destruction like what's happening in SoCal right now. Ever. I've never seen it.
It looks like an actual movie.
It's
like
apocalyptic.
Not real. Yeah.
That's video that I shot from my phone from my house of everything being on fire. It's surreal. And quickly, God bless the firefighters. These people are real-life superheroes.
I'm putting their lives on the line.
They've been unbelievable. And not just from the SoCal community. We're talking about across the United States, people are coming and helping us out. Across the world, Mexico, Canada, we have such gratitude and thanks. It's really sad. We will rebuild. We will get through this. But yeah, we definitely need the love and support right now, so thank you.
Amidst all the sadness, I did hear that you found joy in some videos with your daughter, and we've had them.
So this is incredible. So my wife and I have been nonstop communicating about, like, are the kids going to school? Do they have masks? What are we going to do in order to deal with the air quality? Who are we housing? How are we housing? And then one day, I got into New York, and I get a text from my wife that just says, "You're sick." And I was like, wait, what? And she sent me 3 videos that I forgot that I filmed when our daughter was 2. My wife got mad at me about something and basically said, "Josh, I'm gonna kill you." So I forced my then 2-year-old daughter to do a series of videos that she sent to my wife with me telling her what to say. And this is the result. I died when I saw this. I want to share this with you guys. Here's the first one.
I haven't seen him yet.
You got another thing coming to you, lady.
Okay, let's roll the next clip, please.
Watch your back or I'll cut you, girl.
That's watch your back or I'll cut you, girl.
Totally appropriate.
And then the last one.
Yes.
Don't hurt Daddy.
There is so much future therapy involved.
I know.
It's amazing.
But I love, my favorite part about those videos is that she's still playing with her dolls, and I'm just annoying her in the background, and I'm like, don't hurt Daddy. What's complicated about this sentence?
Just say it.
Say it to the camera. Say it to Mama. She needs to hear the threat.
Oh my God.
It made me laugh so hard.
Oh my God, she's gonna laugh so hard when she's older.
Yeah, or she'll sue me for trauma.
Yeah, that's okay. They're gonna be in therapy for something. Might as well just hand it to them.
Yes.
Yeah. We need to do some commercials. We have someone in the audience helping us out.
Hi, Kelly and Josh. I'm also Josh. Twice a week, I teach musical theater to middle schoolers. I have one student who didn't seem into it until I asked him his favorite musical. He said Gaston, not Beauty and the Beast, Gaston. Josh, that day we watched your rendition of Le Fou and performed the song. I've never had a kid sing that loud and proud. Thanks for getting kids excited about the arts. Stay here. Kelly has more with Josh next.
So why did you want to write a memoir now? I always wonder.
I'm hedging my bets in case I die this year. I actually did. I didn't anticipate writing a memoir. I got a call from my agent one day, Anthony, and he said, "I think you should write a book about yourself." And my response to him was, "Do you know something I don't know? Have you seen blood work that I should be concerned about?" And he said, "I just think that you have stories that could inspire people. You know how to make people laugh, questionable." But I decided to like sit down with it and do this exercise, and it became like therapy in a mirror, and it much less expensive than real therapy because I get paid for this one.
Yeah.
And I started just being very kind of self-reflective, and it was a wild ride. I learned a lot about myself. It was scary. It's funny, but it's also vulnerable. I talk about struggles with anxiety, talk about struggles with my weight, talk about self-image, and putting that on the page.
Just highly relatable to every human on planet Earth.
I mean, I thought so, and I wanted to, if I was going to do it, I wanted to be brutally honest. And so that was the exercise, the most exercise I've ever done in my life. And so that's accurate. And so I just committed to that.
Yeah. Well, speaking of anxiety, you brought that up. When do you feel like that started? Was it in college? Is that what I heard? When you kind of went off on your own?
It was in college. I lost 100 pounds in college. Oh. And I was suddenly like this fit, muscular guy, and I had bleach blonde hair.
Sure you did.
This is true.
Didn't a lot of guys
I looked
then?
like the guy who beat the out of the Karate Kid. And like, hard to imagine. Look up pictures, it's real. And I didn't know who I was. I was like renting someone else's body. And it was weirdly started to cause me severe anxiety. I felt out of body.
Yeah.
And that began a journey with anxiety that I've had for the past 20 years. And in a way, it's a friend that I'm used to now. I no longer see it as an enemy. I see it as something that I know how to deal with. It's always going to be there. And I found ways to cope with that.
It's like depression.
It's like depression.
Yeah.
It's like any mental health issue. And when I was growing up, I didn't have a lot of resources where people were talking about, especially in like people in my industry, people that I looked up to, didn't necessarily like come out and say, "I'm anxious. Let me help you with your anxiety." And so I want it to be that crutch in this book. I want people to reach out to me, not personally because I don't want to give out my number, but I want them on social media or whatever it is to know that they have an ally, they have a friend.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of creative people in general can tend to have anxiety or depression, or be a little bit more manic.
God. Adele talks about going on stage all the time, and she like throws up before she sings.
I don't understand. I would never go on stage.
No, and Barbara Streisand too.
Same thing I heard. Yeah.
I am so afraid of throwing up. If I start throwing up, I'm quitting the business.
So yeah, people talk to me about that level of anxiety, and it's like, oh my God, I don't think I'd do it. I don't think.
Can you imagine if I'm like in the booth for Olaf and I'm like, I like work. Yeah. Like it's such a crazy thing to think.
This is me with acting. So when people want me to act, I have to run to the bathroom because I get major diarrhea. It's just what happens. Like that's how my body handles stress.
I knew inevitably we were going to come back to this topic.
We're going to come back. We're going to come back. Everything comes back to my gut.
Yeah.
Is it true though? I heard this about you before Wicked actually came out. You had like a one-man show that was about Oz. Like,
yeah, so I did.
You were pre-Wicked.
Well, it gets crazier. I was at Carnegie Mellon Drama, and I was a sophomore in college, and I wrote a crazy show called The Wizard of Oz, a one-man show with other people in it. And I played all the characters from The Wizard of Oz.
Okay.
Leslie Odom Jr., who was one of my classmates, was in the show.
Oh my God, he's so great.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Rory O'Malley. It was an insane show. And Stephen Schwartz, the composer who did Godspell and Pippin, was in the audience. And he comes up to me after and he's like, "That's one of the funniest things I've ever seen." I was like, "Thank you so much. I'm such a big fan." And he goes, And it was so interesting because I'm writing a show about the Wizard of Oz right now. So, I can finally...
Because he was doing it based off the book.
He was doing it based off the book.
Yeah.
But in my head, I still believe Stephen Schwartz stole everything
And I want a
he saw.
% of those profits.
So now that Wicked is a successful show and movie, I'm coming for you,
I'm
Stephen.
coming for you.
Get legal representation. I'm
1%.
coming for you.
I'll take 1%.
1% of your billion-dollar growth.
All right, we need a break. We're coming for all y'all. Josh's new book is called In Gad We Trust. He's telling us an epic story from it when we get back. In honor of the great stories in the book, it's time for Josh to tell us one from his early years. This is Epic Storytime. Epic Storytime. The vibrato? Man?
That is such a catchy... Epic Storytime.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. There you go. Okay, so how it works is I'll get one question, then Josh will tell us a story with the help of illustrations from the children's book he's holding. Here we go. Are you ready?
I am.
Okay. Hey, Josh, didn't
Wait,
you
yes,
start
Kelly?
out? Didn't you start out on stage by doing debate in school?
As a matter of fact, I did. It's so funny you should ask.
Random.
Would you like to hear the story of how it all began? Great. Every school activity has an inherent connotation. The sports boys are jocks. The chess club kids are intellectuals. The honors club members are kiss-ups. And the Model UN students are insufferable. I was in none of these clubs. I was in the losers club, speech and debate. I ended up there after a night at the house of my friend Matt Swerdlow, who had 2 pet ferrets that would traumatize me by nipping my toes like 2 long-tailed sociopaths. That night, Matt's brother Danny asked me if I had ever heard of the NFL. Yeah, this is my impression of Josh Gad. Of course, I said. I watch football every week.
So manly.
I make him so much more manly than he was at that age. But Danny was not talking about the Dallas Cowboys and Miami Dolphins, Kelly.
Should have been.
He was talking about the only slightly more obscure NFL, the National Forensics League. And forensics, much to my surprise, did not mean dissecting the dead. It was a form of speech and debate.
What?
Yes, I'll tell you more because I have a book. Danny knew I was a performer, so he knew I'd be intrigued. But then he said he wanted to introduce me to our school's head of forensics, Mr. Pasola, whose inappropriate humor and penchant for hot sauce made him seem less like a theater teacher, Kelly, and more like a football coach, all out of craps to give. And hearing his name made my ass clench like a Pacific Coast clam.
We all had those.
Look at the fear in my eyes there. Nevertheless.
And the arrow.
Yeah, and the arrow showing where an ass is on a human. Nevertheless, I stuck with it. And sophomore year, I ended up I'm doing this all from memory, getting third at the National Speech and Debate Tournament. Couldn't even say tournament, yet I won, in Minneapolis. That year, I stayed and watched the most prestigious of the speech events, original oratory.
Okay.
I was floored by the wait, let me finish. By the power of the written word married to the power of voice and persuasion. This was gonna be my next competition. With the help of legendary coach Bob Marks and my terrifying English teacher, Linda Winrow, names that mean nothing to any of you, but they put them in this book for some reason, I set out to write a speech about the therapeutic nature of laughter. Bob and Linda, okay, keep it going. Bob and Linda took one look at the first draft and said, "This is useless. Where's the proof of what you are saying? You have to do research." Josh said, "Research? What am I, a doctor?" It's getting deeper as he's going through puberty. But I worked and worked on the speech until it was brilliant. And we were all happy with it. And I was ready to perform. But then, on stage, it bombed.
Ooh.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's happened to all of us.
I had gone from hero to zero.
Hercules.
Uh-huh. Hero to zero, yes.
It's such a good soundtrack. Talk to me. I love that soundtrack.
We should do it. That would be a very
do it.
odd retelling of Hercules. I still managed to somehow squeak out of the district and head for the 1998 national tournament in St. Louis. I had so little of a chance making it past the first round, Mr. Pasola didn't bother to come along. I know, very sad for Josh. On the third day of the event, between seeing monkeys at the zoo and likely getting cut from the competition, my mom answered the phone in the hotel room. She hung up and said, "Something's happened. Joshy, we need to go back to the tournament. Now." When we got there, the head of the tournament walked up and said, "Unfortunately, you did not make it." Oh, cool. He had me come back to tell me in person I didn't make it, but he continued. There is, however, a performer who's under investigation for plagiarism. If he's disqualified, you would be up next, which is exactly what happened.
Okay.
I might have been in last place, but like the world's most famous Jewish speaker, Jesus, I was back from the dead. Something tells me Kelly Clarkson Show's gonna be getting some letters.
Oh my God.
The other competitors who'd made the cut were giving each other high fives. I, on the other hand, was completely ignored. They thought I had no chance, Kelly. I suddenly went from humble and grateful to vengeful and determined, like my appearance here today. I was gonna win the whole damn thing. I went back to the hotel and prepped like a boxer for a marquee fight.
Yeah.
And then something happened. That same speech that had struggled in the small, stuffy rooms at the beginning of the tournament was now bringing down the house. In fact, the audience was laughing so hard, I had to take long pauses. A danger because I only had a 10-minute time limit. That's so dangerous.
Such a rebel.
With only seconds left, everyone was wrapped as I concluded, I may still face bullies on occasion, but now I have two choices. Either to again deliver a scathing and demeaning punchline, or to face them, and to perhaps use humor to help them truly see themselves, identify their own insecurities, and maybe to laugh for the right reasons. And just remember, when using your humor, it really doesn't matter what you say or even how you say it, but what you mean by it. So, in the words of Charlie Chaplin, the audience leapt to their feet. They were screaming like they had just seen the Karate Kid, and not the guy who would later lose weight and beat him up. I had done it. I had gone from out of the tournament to dead last to national champion.
That's a great story.
True story. True story.
True story. I think my favorite part was your mom's voice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounded a lot like her son.
Yeah, yeah. Just demanding.
Yeah, both clearly too much smoking going on in the Gad household.
Yes. Okay, let's see that last bit from Josh's speech as it actually happened.
And just remember, when using humor, it really doesn't matter what you say or even how you say it, but what you mean by it. So, in the words of Charlie Chaplin,
Tell some. It's out now, and a big thanks to Jason Kirshner from our art department for those illustrations, especially the arrow.